This is what happens when we as parents allow our children to start making their own decisions and say whatever they want to say at a young age. When they get older, they turn into illogical adults that don't understand a conversation. Okay? And this young woman who I'm about to show goes berserk on Kristan Hawkins because she believes that an unborn child has no right to life because it is not viable on its own. Let's check out the video real quick.
Personal question for you. Are your beliefs about abortion and life and conception, does that have anything to do with your personal religious beliefs? Your belief that life begins at conception, that is not shared by a lot of people. It's not shared by me. It's not shared by any of my friends. So I'm asking you, why should your moral belief be the end all be all and make the law and take away the right to a clean, safe abortion for women to have? And the fact that you can sit here and say that the rapist baby, the seed or whatever you want to call it, the baby that's still in your belly and that it's not born yet, that you should be forced to have that, it's disgusting. And the fact that you can come over here and have an entire career based off of this, and I'm not done speaking, and then you can sit here in front of my friend who was a victim of rape and say that she should have that baby, it's disgusting. And you should be damn ashamed of yourself, and I don't believe that, and I'm not gonna fight until people like you do not have a place to come on here on my campus that I paid a school to go to and spew your fucking lies.
Well, I believe in the First Amendment. Do you believe in the First Amendment?
Do you?
Do you believe in the First Amendment? I've allowed you to sit here and scream at me for an hour and a half and
saying I don't believe that you should have the right to take
me.
away my access to a clean, safe abortion. That is a human right. I have the right to have the autonomy over my own body. You have the right to your autonomy over your own body. We both get knocked up, have sex, both of us pregnant. You want to abort it? You don't want to abort it? Your decision. If I want to abort it, I'm going to fucking do that. Okay. So who are you to sit here and tell me?
So if I don't want to own a slave, but you want to own a slave, am I supposed to just sit around and say that?
Do not sit here in front of a microphone and compare owning a slave to me, you white no idea to sit here and say this shit to me.
Ma'am, that is the argument you just made.
No, it's not.
Do you see what I'm saying? She has no ability to control her emotions because she is a child who was raised with their parents that probably said, hey, say whatever's on your mind. Speak whatever you want to speak. You're allowed to say and do whatever you want because you're your own person. Instead of telling that child, you have to be restrained about what you say. You have to have manners when it comes to people that are older than you because you are a child and you should stay in a child's place. Instead, we have someone like this who can say whatever they want to say, who can yell at adults and scream and cuss and call them crazy names and think that they shouldn't have a consequence for it. This is the thanks that we get for raising our children the way we do.
No, it is not. That is your incorrect interpretation. That is a logical fallacy. You think you can sit here and go ring around the rosy with me?
Are you done with your question? Because you asked me like...
You haven't answered anything. You've actually just made a statement and completely deterred my argument in a completely different way. Oh, do you think that you can own a slave? If I want to own a slave, can I own a slave? How can you sit here with a straight face and say that to me? How is you not embarrassed of yourself?
Okay, do you want me to answer your question? How can you sit here and deny biology?
How can you sit here and deny biology? I'm asking you the same question.
Do you want me to answer your questions? If you will sit down, I will answer your questions.
I'm going to sit right here, and I want you to tell me how you think it's okay to compare owning a slave to having an abortion. It is not even in the same ballpark.
Yes. Because
Black people were not seen as people in this country.
Yes,
they were
just like what you've done time and time again tonight to an unborn child. You have argued.
Unborn child, not living. Black people already existed. They were born.
Unborn children are
like
living,
literally born into slavery.
Would you like me to answer your questions? I can't answer if you keep screaming at me. Do you want me to answer your questions?
I'm waiting.
Are you going to stop
Are
talking?
you going to answer my question?
Yes.
Or are you going to sit here and look stupid?
Wow.
I'm quiet right now. I'm quiet.
This is why we have the First Amendment, so they can.
This is wow, bro.
So no, when we talk about abortion, we talk about the living human being that's present inside of a mother's womb. Biology confirms this fact. This is not a religious belief that I hold. This is a scientific fact. The law of biogenesis says like begets like. We know the definition of life, and we know what's inside of a mother is living because that child is growing. You can call the child a fetus, a clump of cells, whatever, but the fact is that entity, which is a member of our human species, because two humans can't reproduce anything other besides a human, is in fact alive. The arguments that you're making to support your extremist beliefs to justify
not
abortion
extremist. It's
is that
basic
the
human
child
right that
in
you're
the
trying to
womb
take away
doesn't
from
have
me.
value. The argument you're trying to and failing to make, in the argument that you really
You don't get to
should be
sit here and tell me
debating
what my
on-
argument is. If you want to
Ma'am,
answer
you
my
said you'd
question,
be
then
quiet.
answer my question.
Ma'am, you said you'd be quiet.
Answer the
The
question.
argument you're failing to make, and what argument you should be making, is that you believe that the human inside of the womb has less value than a woman, and that certain people get
Yes,
to
it
decide.
does, because it's her
Exactly.
body, her choice.
Exactly.
Her body,
That is
exactly.
your
Her
act-
body, her
Ma'am,
choice.
that is your argument.
Sorry.
It is not that it's not a human being or that's living, because that's flat out denying biology. We know it's living, and we know it's a human being.
What else would
What
it
you're
be?
arguing is that child doesn't have the same right to life as his or her mother, because you have decided, and what you said during your comments was that if I got pregnant and chose not to have an abortion, I can do that, but you can choose to have abortion because the mother gets to decide the value of that person.
The mother,
That is
it's the mother's child. That's
Ma'am,
exactly what
you're
I'm
not letting me
saying.
answer your question. That's
She just
exactly
called-
what
Shut up.
happened.
She just said it was the mother's child. So if it's the mother's child, that's a baby. You just called the baby a child. So the baby's not just a clump of cells. Just because the baby is not outside of the womb doesn't make the baby any less valuable.
That's exactly what happened in pre-Civil War America. You could choose to assign value to Black Americans depending on what you felt like. You could say, oh, I am against slavery because I know these people are human beings that have value and no one has the right to own another human person. But if I was a plantation owner in the South, I could say,
no way
yeah,
this is
they have
real
some
life.
value, but they don't have
like
full
this actually
value
exist
because
outside
I
of, like,
deem it.
alt-right-wing
It's a
Twitter.
slippery slope. And that is not, by the way, that is not a religious belief. This is a scientific belief that this is a human being. Where we can differ on our belief is the
I ask a
value
question?
we assign. No, there's other people behind you.
I
There's
have actually
value
one
that you
more question
assign
to
to
ask,
human
and she
beings.
said I could ask a
That
question
is the
before I leave.
actual debatable question here today.
No,
is what
it's
is
not.
the value we assign to human beings in the womb?
Exactly.
Does a human being in the womb have the same
God,
value,
are you gonna stop
the
going
same
round
right to
and around
life
and around,
as other
repeating
people,
yourself?
or do they not? That is the true pro-abortion argument. That
Yes.
if you have taken an hour to research, you could have come and made. But you failed
Can
to
I
do
ask
that
my
because you
question
deny
now?
biology.
Can I
Next
ask my
person.
question
No,
now?
you can get behind the line.
Wow.
Back the
You
line.
can sit here and
You can
like
get in the
try
back
and
of the line.
create
She's been
this
waiting
argument
patiently.
and idea that you have of what we believe in and push it back in my face, but it's not going to work. Your
You
little
can get in the back of the line.
logical fallacy, ring around the rosy, will not work on us. You disgust me, and if
All right, she's been
biology,
waiting to
Wow.
speak, ma'am. You're not allowing other women to speak.
Okay, so basically what Kristan Hawkins was trying to say is that we put value on these unborn children, and the people that are pro-abortion, 99% of the time, they don't want to have this baby because it's either at a time that they don't want to have it or they don't have enough money to take care of the baby. And so they choose to end the baby's life to terminate the baby. Now, let's talk about a scenario. Let's imagine if she was married to LeBron James. LeBron James is a multimillionaire. He owns many businesses. He's one of the best basketball players in the world. Let's say that baby that was in her stomach was a child from LeBron James. Would she be as willing to let go of that baby and end that baby's life, knowing the value that the baby has? That baby is going to be born into a family with a father that is very successful. And so therefore, that father has the obligations to take care of that baby, which means that that baby's value just skyrocketed based off of this scenario. Just as the same reason as they said that Black people back in the days had value attached to who they were. So if you were a slave, someone could call you a slave and treat you a certain way because they viewed you as less valuable. Especially if you were a slave that was sick or something like that, they would view you with even less value, right? And so that is the argument that Kristan is trying to say against this young woman. But first of all, how are you in college and you can't even debate? Okay, that's one of the many things that you would do in college. You can't even debate. Second of all, the fact that she didn't really have a logical argument is the reason why she chose violence and yelling and calling names over having an actual intellectual argument with Kristan. But again, this goes back to how we raise our children. If we allow them to say and do what they want at a young age, when they get older, they're going to continue to say and do what they want because they have never had punishment. That's why God says to not withhold the rod from the child, give the child a whooping, let them know that they are children and they need to stay in their place. When they grow up, they will continue to do that and be respectful and live a regular life of being a respectful part of the society. So let's raise our children right. This is going to be the end of this video. Appreciate you guys watching. If you're new to the channel and you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss another video. Thanks for watching. My name is Aaron Page. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.